This is Two Blokes in a Pod.
Hey, what is that?
The podcast where, well, it's a bit of this, a bit of that.
I don't understand.
Just blokey laughs and blokey chats.
Okay.
Whatever it is, let's get started.
Let's get started.
What's going on, mate?
Oh, yeah, you know, a bit of this, bit of that.
Oh,
Mother's
yeah?
Day weekend.
Yeah, how was that?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm not even a mum.
It takes it out of you, doesn't it?
Well, look, okay, so this was my weekend, all right? And tell me, like, if you think this is overdoing it, because I would guarantee that you're probably in a similar boat.
Yeah.
But
probably, yeah.
Saturday morning started with kids swimming. Fine, that's normal, you know. They both swim at the same time now. So we got there, we did the lessons and all that. And then I had booked brunch straight after swimming. So swimming's at Glenelg and brunch was at Highmarsh.
Right.
So got there, had our brunch. Let's say we were done by about 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then I thought, all right, well, we're on that side of town. I'll take the kids quickly to Brickworks. We'll just go do some quick shopping at Tony and Mark's. And the kids typically wanted to go through Big W, ransack the place, you know, all that. And then Saturday early evening, 5 o'clock-ish, I took my mum out to dinner to a new Greek restaurant in Unley or Malvern on Unley Road. We'll talk about that a bit later. And then Sunday morning I had soccer. The wife was with one child at Campbelltown and the other one was with me at Ellis Park playing Campbelltown.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I thought, you know what, Mother's Day, I better take the wife out for a coffee, even though I took her out for brunch yesterday purely because we had the soccer today.
Yeah.
I'll take her out for another coffee now. So we went down to Brickworks, our local Chibo's, and we had a nice coffee there. She met us there after the soccer game. And then Sunday night, I hosted her mum at our house. So running around, organising food and all that for that. And yeah, it took a toll. A toll.
Mate, I know. There's a bit of running around on Mother's Day. We had soccer in the morning. We also played Campbelltown. And from there we went to breakfast with my mother-in-law, Katrina's mum, that side. Then we went home. And I'm like, oh no, sorry. Yeah. And then, you know, you do the cemetery rounds and stuff like that. And then by the time we did all that, we just went home, literally got changed. Dimitri had a shower after soccer. We met up with my mum for dinner. And man, it's just like, I don't know. I probably didn't do as much running around as you, but I still went home. I'm like,
Mine was over 2 days, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even remember what we did on Saturday.
Like we can't do her Stav's parents any other time but Sunday night because they've got market Saturday and they do market Sundays.
Okay.
So by the time they get home and wrap up and everything, you know, it's like early evening on Sunday.
Right.
So that's the only time we could do. Whereas my mum, a bit more flexible, and I couldn't do Sunday morning with my mum. Because, you know, soccer, and she went to church and then she had her Mother's Day lunch at the Greek club. So it was just like, you know what, whatever. So, yeah.
Good, mate.
That.
Good.
Let's get on to you.
Yeah.
I know there's something you want to get off your chest.
Yeah. So,
and I think this is going to be like a side of Stamati we haven't heard from. So let's get into it.
Yeah, look, so back when I started, back when Dimitri started playing soccer, he started a year earlier than he should have. That was obviously when you guys, when you and James started as well. We all know.
My James started a year before, but I kept him back.
Okay, which I didn't do with Dimitri, and I should have. Now, and then I ended up coaching under sixes the same time or the year after, with you, and we ended up just going up to under sevens and then under eights, and then it came to under nines. Now, I think it was the back end of under sixes or it was the back end of under sevens. I can't remember. That's when George sort of joined the team as well. He's been previously on this podcast.
I think that was towards the end of under sixes.
I think I can't remember if it was the end.
Yeah, because you guys pretty much were running the show together in under sevens.
Yeah.
And then he sort of like halfway through took over in the under eights, yeah?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, then it was like probably around under eights, beginning of under eights. I noticed there was like a gap was forming with Dimitri and the rest of the kids. But Dimitri being a year younger than everyone else. And I knew at some point he would have to do a second, like a year again in one of the years. And I remember it was a meeting early this year, before even preseason started, whatever. They were saying that under 10s, they were going to start doing trials, which they hadn't previously, and I think other clubs started doing that maybe a year or two before. I'm not entirely sure. Me thinking to myself, well, if under 10s, it's pretty much the cream of the crop out of all the then the next year will be under 10s, like from this year. I thought, well, Dimitri is behind the rest, being a year younger. So I knew, like, I thought he wouldn't make it in that. So I thought, well, you know what? He could probably finish the under nines this year and then just do under nines again. But from under eights to under nines, there was even a bigger gap. Like the boys develop, I felt this year a lot more than what they did, last year. So there was a bigger gap. So after having like talks with George, another coach in under eights as well, Seb, I thought it would be better maybe if he went back to under eights this year. So don't do the under nines with them. I spoke about it with Dimitri, and he was upset because at the end of the day, like,
he's been with that group of boys.
Yeah. And I said to him, "Go look, mate. It's sort of I said it was up to him, but it wasn't really. It's really up to me. Like I'm the parent. I've got to make that sort of decision." And then after having a bit more talks with George, and then I sort of come to terms with, what, he's got to do it. And it was hard. It was hard for him, yes, but it was also hard for me because, again, I've been with the same group of boys from under sixes. Anyway, so we made the decision. And if we're going to do that, then obviously I can't stay and be with this group, the under nines group. It just wouldn't work logistically, because a lot of I think it was only 3 games or 2 games this year where they don't clash. So Dimitri played his last game on Sunday with the under nines.
Okay.
During that week, I think it was Friday, I told the team that I wouldn't be – well, actually George said it. He did a bit of a spill, like all the nice words and the fuzzy feelings and stuff. And then he told the boys, and they were like, what? Like, really? Oh, Dimitri's not going to be a part of – and you're not going to be a part of the team. They were like really confused and why and this and that. But we just said, look, it's best for Dimitri, best for his development that he plays with kids his own age, because the game is sort of running past him, So And then, after George said what he said, and he goes, "Oh, would you like to say anything?" I was like, I could just feel that frog in my throat. And I go, "No, I can't talk right now." And he goes, "Come on, no." And then I just start crying. I started crying. Dimitri, I could see him, he was tearing up a bit. There was one or two players there that, I'm trying to communicate with. You could see the tears running down their faces as well. And I'm like, "Look, boys, I love you guys. It's been a pleasure, being with this group of boys all these years. I was proud of them, how far they've come. Because at the beginning of under sixes, man, there was a couple of players where I couldn't even get on the pitch. They were crying. They didn't, they wanted their mum or dad and this and that. And now, like that, a couple of those same players, they're the stars of the team. I could think of James, for example, George's son. Before George came on, I couldn't even get him to play. Like, where's my dad? Where's my mum? Crying, all this and that. And now he's a bloody superstar, captain of the team.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of a cry on Friday night to the boys, and they were pretty upset too. And then George, he was upset. Like, everyone's upset, but we know this is the right decision, moving forward for Dimitri's development. And obviously the team's in like great hands with George. Not worried about that at all. If anything, he's pretty much did all the work last year, and part of the under sevens as well. It was a bit of an emotional start to the weekend for me. And I could never, ever imagine me being this attached to a group of boys, there's so many memories, like so many first time things, so many like just great games, and they're a good bunch of boys. We've gone away with them. We've been to, Adelaide United as a team. We went there, bowling, laser tag, and, we do all those extra things with the boys, So to bring the group together, tight knit group. So we've done. It's not just soccer. It was a friendship. With Dimitri, the boys, with us, as coaches as well. So it was a bit sad. It's sort of like an end of a. I wouldn't say like end of an era, but like an end of a, I don't know, relationship or like end of.
It's an amicable breakup.
Yeah, right. And I record all the games and all this sort of stuff, and I did a last sort of post in our WhatsApp group to the parents. Go, well, this is the last footage you're gonna get from me, so enjoy. And then all the parents sending like the crying emojis and all that sort of stuff. And they all, most of the parents, they sort of reached out and asked if I was all right, and they were pretty upset about it, but they understood it was best. So that was the start of my weekend on the Friday night. So yeah, so
there is a human side to you.
There is deep down inside. There is a human part of Stamati, but and
it is a great thing when the parents back you on your choice, or it's not like because what you've done is not of self-interest. I mean, in a way, as a father yourself, it is self-interest, but you're doing this for the greater good of your child.
Correct.
Not for the greater good of yourself. And I understand the position that you would have been in, that you've been with this group of boys, and you formed friendships, and not just the boys, but the parents too.
The parents too, man. Yeah.
You guys, did dinners together. You guys went out and did quite a number of different things socially together. So you've formed a clique, right, with these parents, and all your parents seem to get along quite well with one another, right? Yeah. So kudos to you and all that, and I get it. I get the position that you were in, that you're going to be not only doing the right thing for your child, but you're leaving behind something that you were part of building.
Oh yeah. And I always said to Katrina, like, even if I think I said this in under sevens or beginning of under eights. Like if Dimitri didn't want to keep playing, that's obviously his decision. I go, but I would still love to continue.
Yeah, and that would be a whole different ball game altogether.
Yeah,
again. Yeah. It's and I'm not like this is your moment, so I don't want to compare. But I didn't get that feeling at all. I grew fond of the boys, the group of boys that I was coaching.
Yeah.
I was very proud of what I could establish with that team and where I took that team. But when I decided that enough was enough and I was going to drop away as coach, did not get that same respect factor that you got.
No, and that's a shame.
I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
It's a whole different feeling for, what I did and how I did. But I'll tell you one thing, and this is something you're going to experience in the next few weeks. I'm a sideline dad now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I get to watch my son and I get to enjoy the game. On Sunday, just past Mother's Day game, was the first time I actually sat there and I was cheering so goddamn hard for the team in the capacity of a father. And every time my son made a ripper save, I was screaming like a lunatic. Every time we scored a goal, I was screaming like a lunatic. And I stepped back at one moment in the game and I looked at one of the dads that was sitting there talking with another dad. And I just looked at him and go, holy shit, this is what I've been missing out on. He goes, what are you talking about? I go, the sideline dad. I am having the time of my life here on the side. And I am cheering. I'm watching my son do good stuff. Like I am appreciating this mini Roos game so much more than what I used to as a coach across the other side there.
It's because there's no pressure.
No.
There's no pressure like, oh, okay, it's been 6-7 minutes now. I've got to make a sub. Oh, who hasn't been off? Who this, who that? Like,
see, and I don't know if you feel like this, Stamati, and, everyone is different in the way that they think, but I feel that I left my son behind when I was coaching because I wasn't focused on him. I was focused on a team as a whole. So admittedly, like my son does really good stuff with the coaching that I've got him from, external sources to goalkeep. He does great with that. But in terms of foot skills compared to the rest of his team, it's not that good, right? It's not to the standard of the strikers and the wingers that I have on that team, right? And I specifically blame myself for that because during his upbringing, I was his coach, but I wasn't fully focused on just him and his skills and all that,
Well, you can't be.
I was focused on the players which I knew could deliver for the team.
Yeah.
And that's a wrong thing as a coach, but also a very wrong thing as a father that, I tried not to treat him as a son during my coaching years. And, I don't know, is that how you felt as well with Dimitri? Or did you feel that you were in a better hand because George was there also doing the coaching?
Yes and no. Like I did. So when there was like a real tough game, Dimitri got less game time, right? I understood it as a coach because, mate, like I know it's not the same, but let's say like a professional soccer team, if you're not performing, you're not getting much game time, if any, right? So as a coach, you understand, like if there's a tougher game, well, you're going to get probably, in between 5 and 10 minutes less a game than everyone else, right?
But this also, though, raises a point of they are only 6, 7, 8, 9 years old.
Yes.
And we shouldn't be going, you're not getting game time because you're shitter than the other players. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole point of mini Roos is to gain experience, is to gain love for the game, and it is to have game time. Now, yeah, it's very hard when you're on a field of 7 players and you've got 10 or 11. It's hard to spread that love, right? I get it. I completely get it. But at the same time, it is meant to be mini roos where they all get equal game time.
Yeah. No, you're right. And on the flip side, when we weren't playing a difficult team, then it'll be the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, say, Dimitri and others that aren't up to the, there might be 2 or 3 players in that team where they're not at that level either. So when we're playing a not so difficult side, then it'll be flipped around. Now, the problem is that this year, and as long as with your, along with your old team as well, or your current team that your son plays for, they're both in the top divisions. One's East and one's Central. Yeah. So there aren't going to be any easy games this year.
No.
So
we experienced that on Sunday.
Oh yeah. So where last year we were in the middle division, and it's a mixed bag. You might have a really difficult team, and a really easy. There was no real, in betweens. Last year. So, where you're unfortunately, you're winning, and I say unfortunately because I don't see any value in it. When you're winning like 10-0 or 8-0 or whatever it is, well, less developed players are getting more game time. So that's how you flip it, right? But this year, I thought, just judging by the first 3 games of the season, I'm like, mate, this isn't fair on my son. So maybe he should this year go.
So there was a game you guys had, I think it was a Wednesday night.
Against
was it the first week?
Yeah.
The game that you played that night, and I had like my son and his team were training on the other pitch that night.
Yeah.
And I was watching your game quite closely, and like I at this stage, I wasn't aware of your decisions and all the thoughts behind Dimitri, but I did watch him, and when he came on the pitch, I think he was in striker,
which
was probably the safest position,
correct? Yeah,
in the coaching thought process.
Yeah,
and you're right. The poor kid just couldn't keep up with the ball game.
No,
like he looked lost, and the ball, but the other players were hesitating to pass to him because I guess in the way that they knew, hang on, no, we need to take this forward and what's the striker doing back here type thing.
Correct.
So look, you know what?
That's when the cogs started moving after that game.
I think you've done the right thing. Some children have that skill. Other children develop with their age. There's a couple of kids which I know who are 2 years younger than my group of kids, but are better players and more football minded.
And they can fit straight in.
Right? And they can fit into an under 9 squad.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So you've got that, like you said, you've got those players where they will, they don't even need to be in their age group to be brilliant. Some kids, they develop with their age, and I think my son, he will develop with his age. He's just one of those players.
But you know what? I think Dimitri's going to step back into the 8 a better player.
I think so. Yeah.
Than the squad he's going to step into.
Oh yeah,
right. Because he's got that under 9 experience and he's got that under 8 experience already.
Yeah.
So he'll probably fit in a lot better with that development, but he'll be better for it.
Look, and we've had 2 training sessions now with the under 8s and a game. Look, that game. Look, he's still trying to find his feet now.
He has played.
Yeah, he's played 1 game. He's still trying to find his way with his team. He's trained all right. He's trained pretty good. But even just by looking at the 2 training sessions, it looks like he's a better fit there.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
and I said to Seb, because he's got a few clashes because he coaches under 10s as well as under 8s. And I said to him, well, he's got a coach there lined up, like an assistant coach. And I said to him, I go, look, you know, this is your team. I go, but you know, if you need a hand on game day, like I'm willing to help. You know, so, but still, like I just want to be a dad for now, and catch up on what I was missing out on, like what you were saying. You know, so yeah, all right. I just can't help it, but look, I'll help where I can. But majority of the time, I'm just going to be a dad and enjoy. This year at least, you know. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Like I said, overall, it was a sad.
So when are your training days?
So Wednesdays and Fridays with Seb's team.
At what time?
5 till 6 or 6:30 around there.
Early training.
Yeah, perfect, and that suits me heaps better too. You know, even though it's an hour.
So
No
club meals and that after training.
Yeah. No, we'll still go up. We'll still go up.
Our training's 6 to 7:30 now.
Oh, yeah, that's roughly what we were doing with George.
But I just feel it's too late, especially coming into the winter.
Yeah, it's a bit cold.
It's just a bit too late, and now especially because my younger son trains 6 to 7.
Mm.
And I walk to the training from work. So I've got a whole hour of waiting. Then, especially Friday nights, then it'll go, you know, waiting till 6, standing till 7:30. I need to invest in one of those bloody deck chairs,
mate,
from Anaconda.
Mate, no, go to Full Drive Supercentre. They're bloody brilliant chairs.
Where's that?
In Prospect. And
I'm going to go to Prospect now just to get a chair.
No, but I'm telling you, they're a lot cheaper and they're like a lot sturdier. Trust me, they're really good.
Maybe you can get me one.
I'll get you one. All right.
Just let me know what I owe you. Yeah. All right. Cool. Oh, well done.
But there's a silver lining here too. So because George's team trains on Tuesdays, Dimitri asked, can I still train on Tuesdays, just Tuesdays with George's team? And I asked George, and she goes, yeah, no worries, man. So probably not every Tuesday, but at least he can still see his old mates, you know, on a Tuesday night.
Good stuff.
Wherever we can. So it's good. More training, the better.
Good luck for the season.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of cracker games.
Okay, beautiful.
One team very questionable what they're doing in our league.
As in,
like for example, like
developed.
we played. So last year, we played Adelaide Uni.
Okay, yeah.
The first game we played against them, and I don't like talking scores because again, it is mini roos. We don't keep track record of scores, but the first game we played against them at Ellis Park last year, we won like 15-0.
This was last year.
Then the second game we played against them was 6-0, 7-0. I don't know. That was the very last game of our season. It was, in all honesty, quite a disappointing effort from their behalf. It was no challenge for my boys. Anyway, when we got split into our divisions this year, we thought, great, you know, we've got Metro Stars, we've got Campbelltown, we've got
all the heavies.
We've got Adelaide City this weekend. So really great challenges. And then out of nowhere, I see that Adelaide's Uni are in there again. And I question, why are they in Kangaroo League? So anyway, we went to their home ground last week, 8-0.
See,
and it was just, like, I don't know if they were the same boys, but I don't know.
Yeah, but see, again, what I was saying before, like, you don't get anything out of it. Like, we had a game against a team last year, and it was like 13-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
And the boys don't actually learn anything in that.
Oh, the Kukuri game.
No, that was another one. That was another big one.
See, we played them twice, and both times we,
stitched them up.
We even gave them some of our players.
Yeah, I think we did that too. It's just like
But like Sunday just passed, we played Campbelltown, one of the teams from Campbelltown.
Yeah.
And it was the greatest match that I've witnessed. Like, we went down 1-0 in the first 10, 15 minutes and then cracked this amazing over the head kick in just as the second just as halftime was approaching and then ran away with a 4-1 win. It was a great bloody game. It was a fantastic game. But it was a challenging game because they held us 1-1 for quite some time. And then we found cracks and opened up and won that game. And our first game, we won 3-4, against, who did we play the first game? Metro Stars.
And they're a cracker side. They're a cracker side, So, look, I think the whole, like the mini-roos, like the thought process is, I think the first 3 or 4 or 5 games of the season, you can change divisions if you're not comfortable with.
Well, I hope some teams wake up and go, you know what, enough is enough.
That was like last year. Like we only had one loss last year, and that was against Cumberland side, and they absolutely destroyed us 7-0. And I think after that game, they went up to the top division.
Because last year the leagues were structured differently. They had League 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
And we elected to put both our teams in 3.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know where we were quality-wise.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I think looking back at it, we should have maybe moved up.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway, whatever. All right. Well, there you go. That's that.
Yeah, Devo.
Yeah. Well, that was a good chat. That was a very good chat.
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to do, we're going to move along quickly into this.
This is
Blokes T-Shirts.
And are you crying?
No.
Okay.
Okay. No.
All right.
Well, I should be crying after bloody Port on the weekend, but whatever. Let's not go into that.
All right. I'm going to quickly touch on the showdown. Great game.
You know what?
Fantastic game.
It was a
end
cracker.
for end game.
It was cracker.
End for end game.
It was a cracker game.
But very well deserved win by the Crows.
Yeah.
You can't really say that Port lost that game or, Port.
It could have gone either way,
I spoke to many Port fans and they actually said to me they were surprised at how close and great the game was.
Yeah.
They were expecting the Crows to completely annihilate them.
I went into that game thinking we were going to get destroyed, but
yeah. But anyway,
so it was
good effort. Good effort.
Good game.
Now, before we get into more football, this weekend is the start of a 3-week back-to-back F1 calendar.
Yes.
Europe starts this week with Italy at Emilia Romagna, followed by Monaco, followed by Spain, 1 week break, Canada, 1 week break, Austria and Britain. I have no idea why Canada is in the mixture of the European leg, but whatever.
French.
Very, very big races ahead. Oscar Piastri currently on top. So
beast.
we are doing some really great stuff there with our Aussie driver. Now, moving to something that I find ridiculously stupid, pathetic, and really annoying. In the EPL.
Oh, why?
In the EPL.
Why are we going down this road?
Because we have to go down this road. I'm not talking Champions League because we don't need to talk Champions League, okay? We all know what the outcome was there. I think Inter are going to win it. But
I think so too, yeah.
In 16th place on the EPL table, we have Manchester United on 39 points.
Yeah.
In 17th place, we have Tottenham Hotspur on 38 points.
That's crazy.
That is the last team before relegation zone. Now, Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton have no way to catch those two teams.
Gone.
Mathematically gone. But These two teams
I know exactly where you're going with this.
are playing in the Europa League final. Okay?
Yeah.
They are opponents in the Europa League final. The winner of the Europa League final will qualify for Champions League next year.
Is that crazy?
17th and 8th and 16th on the EPL ladder. 17th and 16th.
That's nuts.
Listeners, hear this clearly. Manchester United in 16th place.
Yeah.
Tottenham Hotspurs in 17th place.
Yeah. Yeah. And surely that's got to be a record. Like 17th place or 16th place could put, well, either way, one of them is going to qualify for Champions League. Surely that's never happened before.
In normal succession order, the top 4 teams of an EPL structure go through to the Champions League the following year, right?
Well, this year,
it's 5
places.
Well, obviously,
5.
it'll be. Is it top 5?
So I know in La Liga and EPL, the top 5 now go through. For some reason.
Okay.
Don't know why.
So as it stands right now, Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man City, and Chelsea will all be progressing to Europa Champions League.
At this point. You know, Arsenal could still not make Champions League. If we lose our next 2 games, we go like 6th. So we better win one of them at least to qualify.
We are playing Newcastle next.
I know. Well, we did play Liverpool this morning and it was a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, well, we haven't lost to a Big 6 team for a very long time.
A few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're drawn, but not lost.
Yeah.
So okay. So does that mean that top 5 teams qualify
plus
the winner of?
So 6 teams could go through. 6 teams are going through.
So does that mean Aston Villa and Nottingham will go Europa League?
Where are they?
Or 6th and 7th? Or
I think so.
Or has that changed now?
No, so I think maybe one team will go through Europa, 1 or 2.
And one to the conference. Okay.
And Chelsea are like absolutely smashing everyone in the Conference League. So they're going to win that. We've got another, so 2 out of the 3 cups, Europe cups, are Premier League teams. Could have been 3 out of 3, but you know.
So, okay, let's have a look here. Matches.
So we've got Arsenal have got Newcastle and then finishing with Southampton. So we'll win the last game. It's just this game this weekend against Newcastle.
Man, we've drawn and lost. So we've lost 3 of our last 5 games and drawn 2.
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
Yeah, but 2 of those are Champions League, or are we talking just strictly?
No. This is EPL.
Yeah, same. Injuries, mate.
Now the other one that where are we? This is the one that really upsets me a lot.
Yeah, go on.
Nottingham Forest. We're riding such a high this whole season. At one stage, 2nd on the ladder.
I know.
By only a few points. They are now in 7th place by 1 or 2 points.
It's unfortunate.
That's how tight 2nd to 7th place is.
Yep.
Right? So what's that? What have they got left? They've got Crystal Palace. No, hang on. They've got West Ham United this weekend.
Tough game.
And Nottingham and Chelsea last game.
Tough game.
So they've got 2 very tough games that they could potentially not make Europe at all. The way that it's going.
Out of all the effort this year.
If I go by the ladder, so we've got Liverpool, forget it, they're on 83. Arsenal, 68. Newcastle, 66. Man City, 65. Chelsea, 63. Aston Villa, 63. Nottingham, 62. And then Brentford on 55. So, all right. So they've definitely made Europe.
Okay, yep.
They've definitely made Europe. Whether they make League or
Conference
conference is a
or
different story.
Europa or
Yeah, Europa or conference, that is a different story. I mean, they still could potentially make Champions League.
So if you win conference, does that give you qualification to Europa? Is that how it works? And then
So if you win conference, you go Europa next year. If you win Europa, you go to league the year after.
But is the conference league a malakia? Like,
It is. It's like it's a third tier.
Okay.
It's an absolute third tier. Like it's.
And how's Wrexham, mate?
Qualifying for championship.
3 in a row.
Oh my God.
Promotions.
Do you reckon they'll make the Premier League?
Nah.
I heard
not
rumours
straight
that
up.
they're going to pick up Vardy.
Vardy, yeah. Oh, mate, if they pick up Vardy, mate, the old Vardy. I don't know, but man, good luck to him, man. That is a true Hollywood story. Hollywood story.
It is absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
And I've been following him.
I've been watching it. I've been following it. It's been good.
Where do you watch it?
Well,
are we not allowed to say this on air where you watch it?
I don't know. Can I say it on air? Is it? I don't think it's legal, but it's not illegal. I don't know. Is it illegal? I don't know. So I used to have Disney Plus.
Okay.
I stopped Disney Plus because it was just getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now all I have that I pay for is Netflix and obviously Apple TV, which I don't really watch Apple TV because there's nothing on Apple TV. But Welcome to Wrexham was on Star.
So it's Stan?
Star, which is part of the Disney network.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Sorry.
So I was watching it on that. Yeah. And I found this guy on Facebook from Melbourne that was selling something called Monster Box.
Okay.
Right. And I was specifically looking because my mum's looking for a new device to watch her Greek TV on. So I contacted him and said, does this have Greek TV? Rah, rah, rah. He goes, yeah, but it's got 100 million other things too. Australian sports, world sports. It's got documentaries. It's got channels on movies, brand new movies that have just come out in cinemas. It's like literally like a
big Cody, buddy.
Yeah, like a Cody type thing, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I said, all right. So it cost me $350.
Once off?
Once off.
Okay.
$350. I even get an app on my phone to watch movies and series wherever I want.
Yep.
They run through the same network. And I got it and I thought, I'm going to chuck it on my TV, just set it up so I can make sure that it's all good for mum.
You haven't given it to her yet?
I haven't given it to her. I've had it for 4 months now.
You wanker.
And it's got like all the stuff from Disney channels. It's got all like movies. It's phenomenal.
So, but
there's even a whole like live category of porn.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, not that I use it or watch it, but I'm just saying it's there.
Okay.
But there's American sports channels. I can watch NBA for free.
Can you watch F1?
I can watch F1 live from the UK, from any country that broadcasts it. My God, I was watching Formula 1 in Greek the other day. Oh my God, it was hilarious.
Oh God.
Και συνεχίζει τώρα γύρω τη γωνία το corner number 1 ο Πιάστρι, ο Όσκα Πιάστρι και είναι με το McLaren και κοίτα πόσο γρήγορα πω ρε παιδιά. It was like watching horse races in Greek,
It's
man.
like watching the Spanish commentators like, go!
Yeah. Xavi Alonso.
Yeah. So, wow,
I'll have a chat to you and I'll send you the guy's details. And I highly recommend it.
Are you forever updating though?
No. So what happens every day? If you once you turn it on, it automatically does the updates for you then and there, and it only takes a couple minutes. Obviously, it needs to update every day because they update the servers and put new stuff on all the time. So there's apps that take you to live streams of channels around the world. And then there's apps that take you to servers of stored videos and documentaries.
Okay.
Right? So regardless, there's always something to watch and do.
Have you been watching Champions League on that?
Yeah, that's how I've been watching Champions League and all other different stuff.
And
that
it doesn't
you can't
buffer or anything?
Oh, look, it depends on the stream and the time of day. Now, because Champions League is during the night, we don't really often get that much problem.
Okay.
But, for example, when I was trying to watch the Formula One,
forget it.
During a decent time, like, what was it? Which race was it where it was an early race? China or Japan? One of those two races. It was buffering a bit, so I'm like, nah, fuck this. I'm going back to KO. And I've got KO because my brother-in-law bought a Crows package and he could have 2 users on there. Okay. So he's given me one of those users.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it, there's just so many questions, but anyway, maybe
we'll talk about it after. What else?
That's it, man.
That's it?
Yeah, look, another devastating season for Arsenal. Just the depth, the amount of injury. I don't want to be that guy that blames injuries, but it's the truth.
Look, we have had some really bad injuries this year. Saka out for so long, Odegaard out. Rice was out, Saliba was out. We've had some really bad injuries, but having said that, we've got so much depth in this team that we can slot players. The one thing I'm going to keep harping on this, I don't care what people say. We need a fucking striker.
Oh, yeah. No,
we do not have anyone to slot goals away.
It's non-negotiable.
Rice's free kicks were fantastic, but he's not a goal kicker.
No.
Right? We need someone up front pronto that can win us games.
See, you can look at it like this, right? The amount of injuries we've had, right? And we're still second place. Now, Tottenham have had a shitload of injuries, right? Probably as many as Arsenal, right? And look where they are. They're 17th. So you got to take your hat, and I'll crack the shits whenever I see Arteta out. Mate, you had anyone else in there, would be where Tottenham is. Because they've had just as many injuries as Arsenal.
I'm going to say one thing, and that is that I'm not in any way pissed off with Arteta. I think he's worked wonders for our team.
I think so.
I just don't think that we yet have a complete roster.
I don't think so either.
We've got some great pickups, but we are lacking. We are very lacking in the front.
Yeah.
Now they're talking about buying a striker and another midfielder, right? Which
because Partey's out.
Yeah, Partey's gone.
Jesus is probably gone too.
Oh well, when was the last time Jesus played?
Last year, maybe.
And he's too injury prone.
Yeah.
He came back from a long stint of injury.
And he got injured again.
And he got injured again.
Yeah. So anyway,
but look. I hate that we're bridesmaids again. Well, possibly not. It depending how we go the next 2 games. But fuck, I'd hate to drop down to 3rd place.
Yeah, that'd be shit.
It's not going to make a difference.
What did you say Liverpool are on? 83?
Yeah.
So they're pretty much going to win the league on the points that we got last year.
Yeah.
See what I mean? That's shit. Anyway. Whatever.
That's that.
That's it. See you later.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
That's it. Or you could email us.
Email 2blokesinapod@gmail.com.
Thank you very much.